When a group of friends get stranded on an uncharted island, a religious family takes them in. As the family unveils their sinister motives, they're surprised to learn that something more twisted is among them. At a psychiatric hospital, Jeff is anticipating the release of his wife, Cynthia, who has just suffered a psychotic breakdown. He talks with her doctor and shares that he's planning on taking her on vacation with some of their friends. The psychiatrist cautions that his wife is still not fully healed from the trauma and advises that she only be surrounded by people close to her. However, Jeff insists on going as he plans to conceive another baby with her on this trip. Soon, the couple fly out with their 4 friends to the island where they had their honeymoon. During their transit, they encounter an engine malfunction and are forced to land on an uncharted island. Unable to fix the aircraft, they decide to set up camp and enjoy themselves for the night. The following day, Jeff returns to the plane and attempts to fix it, but to no avail. While the rest of the group do their own thing, Terry sees Cynthia troubled and invites her to scuba dive with her. She agrees so she can clear her head and accompanies her to the sea when Terry slips, hits her head on the rocks, and rolls into the ocean. Cynthia is then paralyzed with fear as she vividly remembers leaving her baby in the bathtub to answer a phone call. When she returned, she was horrified to discover her child had drowned. Hearing the commotion, Jeff jumps in to save Terry and admonishes Cynthia for not helping. She then bursts into tears, thinking that Terry is dead because of her, so her husband reassures her that she's alright. Meanwhile, Lynn hears a noise in the woods and makes a break for it until she's intercepted by Rob, who was hiding behind a tree. She tries to explain that she spotted movement in the bushes, but Rob claims it might be animals. However, Lynn is scared, so they head back. At camp, Jeff explains that he's unable to fix the plane, so they should try to find help on the island. He then instructs Paul to stay behind to watch over the aircraft. The rest trudge along the island when they stumble upon a house nestled deep within the woods. They enter the cottage and are startled that it looks straight out of the 1920s. Believing it to be abandoned, they start fooling around while Cynthia explores on her own downstairs. She finds a child's room and looks around forlornly, remembering her own baby. Upstairs, the owners return and interrupt their horseplay. Jeff quickly apologizes for their behavior, and although the wife, Ma, brushes it off, the husband, Pa, is unfriendly. The men explain their situation to the elderly couple and ask for assistance, but Pa asserts that he doesn't have anything to help them with their plane. However, he shares that his acquaintance, who's arriving tomorrow, might be able to aid them. They introduce themselves to the married couple and inform them that Cynthia is downstairs, alarming the owners. When Cynthia is about to check the crib, Jeff stops her and leads her back upstairs. Later, as they serve them dinner, Rob questions what their real names are, but Ma insists they prefer their simple monikers. Pa then presides over the prayer and gives them the side eye when they don't respond. Afterward, the group tries to tell them about the outside world and its advancements, but they ignore them. Annoyed, Lynn starts smoking, and Pa immediately scolds her and demands her to do it outside, which infuriates her further. Ma also reprimands Cynthia for not finishing her meal and cleans up the dishes, dismissing Terry's help. She's about to check the cellar when the couple stops her and tries to dissuade her from exploring further. They then offer to let them spend the night in their house. Cynthia then goes to the porch to inform Lynn that Ma is making coffee when they spot a jump rope below. This reminds Cynthia of the child's room downstairs, so they investigate. Lynn is about to check the crib when the couple's middle-aged daughter, Fanny, tells them not to disturb her sick baby. The woman acts childish, and when Ma arrives, she adds that she'll prepare Fanny for bed as if she's a child. Ma also informs the 2 women of her daughter's upcoming 12th birthday, even though Fanny looks like she's in her 50s. Ma then promises her daughter a new dolly if she behaves. This delights Fanny while the 2 women become increasingly bothered. Lynn later recounts Fanny's peculiar behavior to their friends and admits she's becoming unsettled by this place. After a while, Ma goes upstairs to introduce Fanny to the group before tucking her in. She starts turning off the lights in preparation for bedtime, and Pa forces the women and men to sleep separately to prevent any hanky-panky. Lynn cusses at his rules, and Ma admonishes her for foul language. Later that night, Cynthia is listless due to Fanny making noises below and tells Terry that she's scared. Terry tries to comfort her by making her laugh at what what Ma made them wear to bed. She then advises Cynthia to sleep, but the woman still finds herself unable to. The next morning, Rob goes for a walk, leaving Jeff behind to sleep. He then spots Fanny pushing her brother Woody on a swing overlooking the sea and greets them, but the brother doesn't bother looking at him. Fanny invites Rob to swing with them, to which he agrees, making her squeal in delight. The siblings then secure Rob in the swing and start pushing him. However, Rob becomes uneasy when they swing him higher, so he tries to make them stop. Woody then climbs to the top of the swing and chops off the rope, sending Rob down to his death. The siblings then hold hands and march back to the house, singing Rockabye Baby as if nothing happened. At the house, Jeff asks Pa when his friend will arrive, but the man is skeptical he'll make it to the island. Jeff becomes annoyed, so Pa suggests that he read the Bible to learn the value of patience. Meanwhile, Cynthia is walking by the cliffs and is horrified to discover Rob's corpse. She informs the group of his demise, and they mourn for him. Afterward, Ma tucks a devastated Terry to bed to let her sleep off the sorrow and wonders how Rob found their children's old swing set. She then introduces them to Woody, who goes on a tirade that the swing is too dangerous to be played with, unsettling Jeff. Ma then instructs him to find his sister, and he leaves. Cynthia then goes outside for a breather when Lynn follows her and starts complaining about the family, especially Fanny. After her rant, she goes back inside, leaving Cynthia to spot a sobbing Fanny. Realizing that she overheard their conversation, Cynthia tries to console her and compliments her dress. Flattered, Fanny mentions that Mom makes all of her and her baby's clothes, but Cynthia blanches when this triggers her memory of her own child. With her trauma returning, Cynthia tries to leave, but Fanny forces her to stay. She then grabs an axe, and a frightened Cynthia recoils in fear. Fortunately, Fanny uses it as a target to play horseshoes. That night, Cynthia is woken by Fanny, who leads her to her room to show her baby. However, Cynthia is mortified to discover the mummified remains. Fanny's older brother, Teddy, suddenly appears and is about to drag Cynthia away, but Fanny stops him, saying that she's her friend. She then holds out her dead baby for Cynthia to kiss, but it only causes her to faint. The next morning, Lynn is walking through the woods when she finds the three siblings playing jump rope. They invite her to play with them, but she declines. As she tries walking away, Teddy grabs her and demands to know if Cynthia ratted on him. Fanny scolds him and offers Lynn to join them, but she vehemently refuses and insults them. The siblings then start wrapping her around the rope while she screams for help. At the house, Jeff confronts Pa about his friend and starts cussing at him for his lies, making the older man angry. Jeff storms off and informs Terry to find Lynn since they're leaving. He then goes to Cynthia, who is infuriated at him for not believing her about Fanny's mummified child. Jeff argues that it wasn't there when he went to the room earlier, so he tries to console Cynthia by kissing her. Unbeknownst to them, Fanny is watching them and becomes jealous as she wants Jeff to herself. She then tries to make Teddy kill him, but her brother declines, so she decides to do it herself. Fanny then heads to the couple and pierces Jeff's eye with a statue. A terrified Cynthia runs to Ma for help, but the woman claims that they're wicked people and tries to attack her, so she flees to the woods. Jeff stumbles into the porch, and Ma finishes him off with her knitting needles. Disappointed that her daughter can never finish her kill, Terry eventually arrives at the camp and searches for Paul to no avail. She then grabs Jeff's flare gun and loads it, only to discover that their aircraft is gone. As Cynthia runs into the forest, she finds Lynn's corpse hanging from a tree with a jump rope around her neck. Horrified, she goes in the other direction. She then stumbles upon Terry and explains that their friends are dead. The latter informs her that Paul and the plane are missing, so the two break down over their dire situation. A play arrow suddenly strikes Terry as Woody and Teddy have found them. The two women then run and hide behind a boulder, where they hear Fanny calling out to Cynthia. Terry then aims the flare gun at Fanny and threatens her into helping them get off the island. They return to the cottage to show Ma and Pa that they've taken their daughter hostage and demand they take them to a boat. Scared for his daughter's safety, Pa agrees to help them and leads them to the other side of the island where the boat is. There, they find a dinghy, but Terry knows that the two brothers have been following them and forces them to show themselves. Terry and Cynthia then make their way to the boat but are horrified to discover Paul's corpse inside. Fanny uses this opportunity to flee and hide while a furious Terry shoots the flare at them. The two women then escape, and Teddy is about to follow them, but Pa stops him as he's confident they'll be able to locate them. Fanny then asks Ma if she and her siblings can play their game already, to which the latter agrees and tells them to return to the house before dark. The two brothers then set Paul's corpse and the boat on fire, thus ensuring that the two women can't escape. Night comes, and Terry and Cynthia continue to run through the woods. They then find a hollow tree and hide there until morning. Later, Ma tucks her children into bed and rests by the fireplace with her husband. Pa shares that they should kill anyone who comes into this island as God is assisting them. He also doesn't want their children exposed to the outside world and wants them to remain on the island with them forever. The following day, Cynthia wakes and violently remembers Jeff's death. She then hears a song playing in the distance and realizes that the deranged family doesn't have a radio, which could mean that it's from someone else. They then search for the music source and stumble upon the woodshed. Terry goes to check it out and finds Rob's corpse by the radio. The brothers then intercept her and chase after her while Fanny grabs Cynthia and assures her that she won't let her brothers touch her. Fanny then leads the frightened woman back to the house. Elsewhere, Teddy catches Terry and snaps her neck, which kills her instantly. He then forces himself on her, and Woody rushes back to inform Pa of what he did. Pa becomes furious and waits for his other son to return to punish him. Teddy begs him not to beat him, but Pa is firm and whips him repeatedly while the family watches and chants. Cynthia witnesses this, and her fragile mind soon snaps, making her join the family in their prayer. Fanny is over the moon that Cynthia has become one of them, so she dresses her in a pink dress to match hers. Fanny then reveals that she and Ma have a surprise for Cynthia to celebrate her unity and comments on how pretty she looks. At dinner, Pa thanks God for bringing Cynthia into their lives, and they start celebrating Fanny's birthday. After dinner, Cynthia even boasts to Ma that she finished her plate, unlike last time. Afterward, an excited Fanny leads Cynthia to the cellar for her surprise. There, she discovers that they've hung up her friends' corpses and the skeletons of those stranded on the island previously. However, she's unfazed and looks on giddily as Fanny explains each dolly's background and how they came to this island. The following day, Cynthia discovers a cute dress and wants to dress the baby in it. Fanny then brings out a bassinet to wash the infant, but this triggers Cynthia's trauma. They then fight over the baby, and in the process, they rip the mummy apart. Furious, Cynthia grabs the metal tub and bludgeons Fanny to death. Woody hears the commotion and rushes downstairs to find a bloody Fanny on the floor. Cynthia then ambushes him and stabs Woody with the statue that Fanny used on Jeff. Cynthia then runs upstairs and waits for Teddy to leave Ma. She then confronts Ma on the porch and stabs her using her knitting needles. Teddy returns and is horrified to see his mother dead. This allows Cynthia to end him with the sickle. She then rushes to the kitchen and devours a cookie, famished by her actions. Pa returns from his hunt and is horrified to discover Ma and Teddy dead. He then slowly makes his way downstairs to check on his daughters and finds both of them dead. However, Cynthia is only pretending to lower his guard. Devastated, he goes back upstairs and cries in frustration. Pa then leaves his rifle by the door and rushes outside to renounce his faith in God since he has forsaken his family. Behind him, Cynthia has gotten a hold of his rifle and shoots him dead. Now alone, she returns to Fanny's room and starts rocking the cradle while singing a soft lullaby.
Subscribe to watch more videos like this, turn on notifications and leave a like to help the channel out. Thank you for watching.